building an AI application that can read from your MySQL database. So what we are going to do in this video is creating a system using the Gemini free API to just give the natural language prompt, just like how many users I have, how many transactions I have for certain category, like this kind of response, and then Gemini will really going to return only the SQL query. That SQL query it ran for your database, it get the result, then it will convert that result into the real natural language query. So for example, if you ask how many users you have in the database, then it will go and query that for how many users, whatever will be the query, it will get the response, let's say 5. Then it's going to return to you that you have 5 users in your database, or there are 5 users I found in your database, kind of this. So all these applications really very easy to create, all free, no charge, and everything is just for you. So much easy that you are going to love this video. But if you really want to know something crazy about the AI things, if you want latest update, how to use the AI, how to embrace the AI, how to become an AI developer, you can just go and subscribe to Bitfumes YouTube channel and like this video if you have not till liked it. So welcome to Bitfumes. I'm your host Sarthak, the founder of Bitfumes, a passionate content creator, developer and DevOps expert who love to embrace the AI. And if you have any query regarding your career, regarding your project, you can directly schedule a one-to-one call from my website called sarthaksavvy.com. So let's get started with this amazing video. To get started with the Gemini API, we just need to visit the aistudio.google.com. And to get started with this, the very first thing we need is the API key. So just click on this Get API Key. And here, if you have never created any API key, you need to just click on Create API Key. Then, if you have never created any project, you need to create the project. I already have that. So I will choose the project and create API key in the existing project. So once we are done with that, we will going to get the API key. So you just need to copy this because this is the first time you are getting it and you will not be able to see this API key next. So just copy it and make sure you have it on secure place. Now we have this curl API to test this out, and for that what I'm going to do, I'm going to first copy this and paste it here. And as we know, we have the API key, so we need to change the API key here. So key will be like this one. Okay, so instead of saying how AI works, I say how human mind work. This is a natural language. Okay, so I hit the enter and let's see how this is going to return the response. Okay, so now I can see it's using the Gemini 1.5 Flash, but 2.0 is released, so we should do that. We should not use the older version. By the way, we have a nice answer. So we have an answer in the form of candidate, content, parts, and then parts is having that, role is like model, and finish reason is stopped, average lag props, something is like that. Here is the interesting thing, metadata. Prompt token is 5, candidate token count is 701, so total is 706 token we have used in this prompt. Now let's change the model. Here when you go on the URL, you will see it says Gemini 1.5 Flash. Instead, I want to use Gemini 2.0 Flash. Let's see how this will going to respond. It says there is no API for Gemini 2.0 Flash. Now I am stuck. Let's just Google how we can get the Gemini 2.0 Flash use. So use Gemini 2.0 Flash API. You can obviously call the AI and ask for from the ChatGPT, but a little old stuff is doing the Google thing. Anyways, the model is actually called 2.0 Flash Experimental because this is still in the experimental version. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it to /exp, And now let's see how this is going to respond and how many tokens this time it's going to use. So wait for this, and this will going to get the result very soon. And yeah, we have the long list of the thing, how mind work, but I don't know how mind work. Anyways, I'm interested in something like token. This time it has took more token, but obviously it gave better response. Okay, so this is how we get the API call working. But instead of doing this, we want to use it in the Python environment. So first of all, I'm going to create a file called app.py. Then I'm going to create a Python environment. I can do like this, or I can just press Command Shift P on my VS Code or on the cursor, because both are same. And I'm going to say virtual environment. So maybe I can search for Python create environment. I can do that. I can use Conda or venv. I will prefer venv. And which version of Python you want to use? I want to use the latest version 3.13, and very soon it is going to create that virtual environment. The best part of creating the virtual environment through this kind of VS Code way is whenever you open the terminal, you can see it already activated the virtual environment for you. This makes using the virtual environment very, very easy. Okay, so now we have that. What I'm going to do is I want to use the same thing in the API. How I can do that? Okay, so for the Python, you just need to say install Google Gen AI. So pip install Google Gen AI. I'm going to do that. While this is doing, let's see how I can use it. So I just copy that, get this, and I want to use this Gemini API key. So I can just paste the Gemini API key like this. And how, once again, human mind works, and we should get the response like this. Okay, once we are done with that, we can say Python app.py. Py should be there, and it should get me the reason of answer of how human mind works once again in the row third time. Okay, you can see we are getting the answer, which is really nice, amazing answer. But this is not we want. We want to do something crazy. And here comes the real next power. We want to actually read the data from this database, and this is a transactional database of my personal expense tracking app, although these are the fake data, but we can use that. So this is the transaction database table, and I want to query on this table and get me the result. So first of all, I want to see how I can interact with the database. For that, I'm going to use cursor. If you have never used cursor, and if you have no knowledge what cursor is, just search for cursor Bitfumes, and then you will get this amazing tutorial where I have given the 15 tricks to speed up your coding, and how this cursor can be an amazing way or the next level for your coding journey. Anyways, if you open this cursor, you have the chat. There's a new thing called bug finder, and you can also start a composer where it can create multiple files. For now, I just want to chat, and you can select the model you want, and I'm going to use a what's that? Claude. Okay, now here I'm saying that how I can connect this app with database. Okay, this is going to be the interesting thing, because this is a Python. I want to interact with the database. I have not said like which database, so maybe I should stop this generation and ask like MySQL database, maybe like that. Oops, MySQL database, and this is going to give me the specifically for MySQL database. Yeah, so here it's giving everything what I want, but I want this to have a proper, I can say, structure of the file. So instead of doing this in the chat, I'm going to do the same thing in the composer. So first I experiment with the chat and see how it is responding, and if it is good, then I go and write on the composer. But I want to just do something like this. I want to tell like make sure to use fewer code as possible, and code must be manageable and reusable. You are a senior programmer, so act like that. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to copy this one because I want to paste it again and again. But if you want, you can create a cursor rule file, which is just one file which you write for an entire project and define what you want. Anyways, it is doing something, and you can see it is actually doing all the changes, updating the code, creating new file, and everything doing for me. Okay, so it has done things, but I want to have a little different thing. So before doing that, I just want to run this, and you can run the terminal command directly from this conversation we are having here. Okay, so now we have everything here. Let's see what it has created. So database management, where I can provide the host, user, password, and database, and database manager is used here. So localhost, root, and database is Expenser test. This is the database name. Now I have this database connection, and then what I am doing, prompt is how human mind work. Everything is doing save response and db.save response. So right now I don't want to save the response. I just want to have the database connection and show me how many tables I have in the database. So remember, we have this save response inside this class. But one thing I want to do is I want to just make sure that all the files are manageable code. That means extract code to dedicated files so that I have clean and manageable code. So what I'm going to do is I want to create a different file structure where I have a dedicated file for database connection, dedicated file for let's say the AI calling or Gemini thing. I'm doing all that thing, and here we are doing a lot of things. So AI client, database manager, database, all these things has just created with the help of this cursor. Okay, once again I want to install this, and I can run the app.py if I want. Great. So I want to show you what I have done here till now. So on the main or app.py, we just have a main function which is initialized once we run this file. On that, we initialize the service like database service. So we have the database configuration. We have the database configuration in our config file, maybe. Where is that? Yep, here is a database config file. We define everything here. We have the API key. You can use the .env file. It's up to you how you can do that. Once we have that, we have initialized the database. We have initialized the AI client. Now, what is AI client? AI client is again in the services, maybe in the util. AI client is here. We initialize the Google Gen AI client in this constructor, and then generate response with the Gemini 2.0 Flash. That's super duper nice. Right now we are not using database for anything, but I want to use the database to see how many tables I have. So maybe there are very nice options. I can ask the Gemini, or I can ask the cursor, or maybe just I can write here as a comment and it will generate for me. I want to see how many tables I have in the MySQL database, and I hit new line, and cursor is going to complete this for me. Okay, so table is here, and how mind work is okay. So I will get two different kind of result if I run this file. One is obviously for the how mind work, and another is for the tables, but we get some error. So app.py main, so I have some database manager has attribute get table. Okay, so it doesn't have any get table database manager connect save response. So maybe I should create a new thing called get table. which is like executing the show tables. Okay, so let's do this. And now I get access denied for root. Okay, so maybe I should get the proper configuration, which I have to do is like password is, I think, password maybe. Let's try once again. Okay, it says no password. Maybe if I just remove the password. Okay, yep, we are getting this, and that's going to be really amazing. So we have cache lock, categories, and that's actually, we have this here, cache lock, categories. So that's nice, but what if instead of writing the query directly show tables right here and creating a new function, can we create a function, maybe I should comment it, function that accept the query and run, I can say that accept any MySQL query and run it and return the result. That's good. So run query is the one which I have to do, and now in this I am just going to do, I'm not going to do the AI thing for now. I'm going to say run query, and inside that I'll say show tables, and if I run this file I get the show tables. And now what if I say select maybe count everything from users table, and let's see what we will get. Yes, we get the answer as 1. So we are having this very nice way to run any SQL query. Okay, so I want to convert the query by just asking to the Google Gemini. So what if I just say prompt is convert this to query, convert to SQL query, and query from the natural language, how many users I have in the database. So instead of running this time I'm going to run the API AI response and then see what's going to happen. Here I have Python app.py and it's giving me the result. Count everything as number of users from the users. So we have the response, but we have a lot of text. I just want to get only and only one thing, which is the query. This means I only want to get the structured output from the Gemini. How I can do that? So on this Gemini model where I have defined things, I need to provide the configuration. So if I go on the documentation and if I go to the SDK where I have the Python SDK and every SDK, I can go to the Python SDK, here's a documentation for that, and I just search for JSON. I want the JSON response from this. So see, here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say config types content generation config and then provide it as an application JSON, which is really simple to use. Okay, so I say config is now types. Obviously, I think I need to import it from Google. It's good. I don't want any schema, just this, and you see some problem which is saying types. Okay, so let's start from here. Okay, so type will be like Google Gen AI types. So it should be like Google Gen AI. So maybe like Gen AI dot types dot generate content config. Okay, let's see. Wow, we are just getting the SQL query and nothing else. That's super duper nice. That's easy also. So I should get query response dot query like here, and if I do that I should get the just query, but I'm not getting why. Maybe I need to check why I'm not getting the query. Okay, so this is a JSON response, and I should say like from the JSON response, like I just copy and paste like this. I want to get and print it. Okay, so JSON.loads, I need to import the JSON. So from and just import the JSON, nothing else. Cool, that's good. And I'm running the query. I just want to get the query. sometimes AI is very fast. Okay, so Python run, and yeah, we are getting the query only, and this means if I run it and then give me the result like this, and this is going to give me the proper result, which is 1. Now, okay, so I just want user to get, maybe I can say like, I just want user to give the query. So maybe I should get the question from the user. So I can say like, maybe I can just remove these things. I want to allow user to ask question and merge that question with the prompt. Cool. So we should get the prompt like this, and how many query will be removed like this. Okay, that's great. So we are getting the prompt and the user question, and then we create some query, and finally we get that. Okay, so let's run this Python and asking question, how many users I have in database. Super simple, but let's see the answer. Okay, so something is wrong. Something is wrong because maybe I should try to see what is the prompt first, and then we should see what is the result first. Then we can easily debug how many users I have. Okay, so we should get, okay, we get the response. Convert to query language. This is the prompt. This was the prompt actually, and now I have this query. That's great. Things are looking good, and we should get that. Maybe I can copy this thing and paste it, and let's see what will be the result. Yes, we are getting it. Once again, let's try once again. This time I'm getting the error, so maybe I should see what is the error, why I am getting it whenever I run it. Okay, so sometimes it return the SQL, sometimes it return the query. That's the problem. So maybe on this, convert SQL query from the natural language query and return in query in JSON as query the SQL query. Okay, now this should always return the same thing which I always want. And yeah, you can see it's doing that. Let's try it again so that it should not give any error. That's great. We solved that problem. So I should remove all these comments and we are getting good. Now, since we are having the result, we should feed the result to the AI again and get the real natural language answer. Okay, so once again, we should use this AI client. So maybe AI client, so response to, maybe AI client, convert the result from natural language, and this is the response to in a few lines. Okay, very short, maybe a very short answer. I can say answer should be very short and concise. Okay, let's see. I'll say how many users I have in the database. Let's see the answer. The tuple contain one element, which is number 1. It's okay, I should get that, but it's not that perfect. Let's ask something else. How many transactions I did total? Okay, so it should give me the total number of transactions I have, and it says 20. Let's see if I really have 20, and I think yes, I have the 20. Great. Let's ask something great. So how many transactions are for, let's say this is going to be interesting. I'm asking for a single category, maybe category called investment. Okay, for the investment category. Okay, this is going to be interesting. It can be failed. Yes, it failed. Unknown column category in the where column. So now since this AI doesn't know the structure of our database, we should first provide the structure also. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to once again comment everything, and from the database I want to get the structure of our database schema. So get the database schema. So we should get that. Let's see, do we have this function or not? No, we don't have. So we should go to the database, and I don't need get table, I don't need save response, but what I need is, I'm going to ask the cursor to create a function to get the schema of all the tables in the database. Okay, let's see how this is going to create the function for me, and let's wait for this to complete. Great, so it has created get all table schema like that. Okay, and it has done that. I'm going to accept the changes, and now I'm going to use this this function name and move it here, and yes, it has done that. Now run it, and yeah, we get all the schema. So we have everything here. I'm going to pass all this schema to the prompt. So here is this convert SQL from the language, whatever I have. But first what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make sure we are having something like this. Okay, great. Now I say, given the following database schema, then convert, I won't allow user to ask and merge the question. No, not like that. Convert the SQL query from the natural language, and not convert, get the SQL query from the natural language question of the user, and return it as have to make it f string, so that we can have this, and make sure when we define it as a JSON, it should be in double query, and that's good. Now we merge the, first ask the question, then merge the prompt with the question, and then return the response. Let's see how I can do that. I have this, how many transaction I did for investment category. It has created the SQL query, which is now using category ID and title is investment, like that, because it know what are the fields, what are the relationship between the categories we have. Now we run the query, we convert it, and let's now finally see. So yep, we run it, give the prompt, and this is going to convert into SQL query, which is obviously we have done that. Now tuple contain only one, so let's run this query to really see how many actual transaction we have for that particular investment category. Okay, yes, we get that one. That's cool, that's cool. Now what if we find something which is maybe twice, this one is more than one, so other. So if I run it for other, and let's see, we get two results. So now this time I'm going to ask like, hey, how many for, not like that, how many for investment category, instead of say other, this time I'm going to say other category, and O is small. Okay, so here we can see we are getting 2, which was the real result. So in that way you can create something crazy with the Gemini, with the SQL thing, whatever you want, and this can be an amazing thing. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually implement this in my expense tracking app, which will be live very soon on the Play Store and the Google Store. You can try it and let me know how you are going to use it. Don't worry, everything will be encrypted, so no one is able to see your transaction and everything, but I will tell you the result when I launch this application. Okay, so this is great, and if you have any question regarding Gemini, regarding using the AI, if you have any question, let me know in the comment section. And if you have not yet subscribed, go and subscribe to Bitfuse YouTube channel, and we'll meet in the next video. Till then, goodbye.